Good afternoon. My name is Joe Cashwell with Rotorcraft Pro Solutions. What a challenging build this was. The client contacted us and had a list this long of things he wanted put into this very small case. Well, we made it happen. So this has the Spectrum S450 chargers. So it is 4 channels at 50 watts per channel. It is a smart charger, so if you're using the Spectrum Smart batteries, you just plug in the XT60, the charger starts and does everything automatically. It also has a balance cable that's on the deck, so if you have a standard lithium polymer battery or several other chemistries, you can plug it in and set it up and program it manually so you can charge everything that's not a smart battery. So we had never installed one of these chargers. Alberto was pretty set on us using those. He sent us the brand new S450s and we took them apart and figured a way to mount them into a deck just like we do our standard chargers. One thing we figured out after we took this charger housing apart, the screens are almost the same screen as the iCharger screen. So we made a mounting system to be able to put the S450 screen inside of the iCharger housing. So we have flip-up screens for them, which actually came out pretty cool. One of the issues that we had to overcome with using the S450 and the iCharger housing is we needed a longer ribbon cable. So if you've never dealt with a ribbon cable, you have to mic everything out, and then that's the specs that you go off of. So these are actually a 14-pin ribbon cable, 0.5 pitch, and then the length of the pad. So we put all that in. We sourced them here in the US. We got an extension block and a ribbon cable. Everything works out perfect. Very happy with the way this came out. On Alberto's long list of things that he wanted the one of one. He has this on several items that he owns now. He gave us the font. We matched the vinyl to one that he chose, and we got the one of one print. Also made all the graphics on the case out of the same gold vinyl and then the black overlay. It really ties the case together. He wanted his name in acrylic. We made it absolutely as big as we possibly could do, and then gave him a bunch of other extras. So now let's go ahead and power this thing up and we can show you some of the extras. Now those S450s, when they power up, boy, do they make a little sing for a second. We have a DC meter in the front here. That shows him how much the power supply is putting out. With having 2 S450s and 2 ISD TP20s in here, there's a lot of power that this case can demand. On 110, we're going to get about 1,500 watts out of the power supply. If he puts 220, he'll get a full 2,000 watts. So we got to kind of balance a little bit on how much he's drawing on the input voltage that he's putting into the case. Of course, we have the graphics, the acrylics that light up. And we did matching gold LEDs in the logo, in the fans, and in the time to fly on the deck. Basically how we do the fans is we buy a standard fan, which is red, green, blue, whatever color the LEDs are in. Then we have to take apart the LEDs off of the fans and then mount the LEDs that we want the color to be. And that way we can match everything. So Spectrum makes a couple different smart batteries. This one actually has a balance on it, so we will need to plug in the main and the balance. But they also make them that doesn't have a balance. It will have a BMS chip inside of it, and that battery management controls the charge cycle. So when we plug it in, you'll see that the charger will see it. Then it's going to ask us to plug in the balance because there's no BMS chip. And so then it sees channel 1. It's a 2S lithium polymer battery, actually. I think it's a 3S lithium polymer battery. And it's starting to charge all by itself with no touching of buttons. So if you have people that are not proficient at charging batteries, which there is a lot more people than you'll ever think that are not proficient at it, this is a really good system. I wasn't sure how I was going to like this charger to begin with. It is actually pretty cool. So anything that helps you be able to charge without thinking, without doing math, without figuring C charge rating or C discharge rating, that's always a plus, especially if you have young kids with RC foamies or RC cars, RC boats, anything. It takes a lithium polymer battery and they can just plug it in and it charges. That's always good. Safety is number one. Now, something else that is great about the charger is you can take a regular LiPo and plug it in and just use the control buttons on the deck, just like a standard lithium polymer battery charger and other chemistries, to where you can manually tell the charger what you want this charged at. Now, because it doesn't have the smart connector in it, it's not going to remember the charge on this battery. So this one, if you change the settings from what it automatically does, next time you plug it in, this will be remembered by the charger and charge it the same way. To where this one, you will have to manually do it every time, just like almost every other charger out there. It's a pretty cool system. Like I said, it's safe for people that are not familiar with charging LiPos, and safe for young ones to be able to charge. They can just plug it in, it beeps when it's done, they come back, they're going. One of the other things that we added for him is we added some down firing lights. So if he's flying early in the morning or late in the evening and it's a little bit dark, or if you're doing night flying, we wanted to be able to light up the case for him to where he can see all the controls and see the positive and negatives on the balances. Basically everything that you need to be able to visually look at before you start a charge or finish a charge. Also, on a case like this, client wanted storage. It's like the #1 item that's an accessory that we do is storage. We did the touch latch. When you open the storage, the acrylic goes up with it, and the lights in the side illuminate the inside of the storage. Even if you're out under a pavilion or a tent, it can still get dark in there and you're trying to dig through and find cables. We utilize the LEDs in the side of the deck to inject into the case, and then you can see what you're looking for. And then when you shut the storage, it injects into the edge of the acrylic, illuminating the acrylic. So because the S450 from Spectrum is a brand new charger, and we got like the first couple ones that were sold, they have USB-C updates built into the charger itself. Since the charger is hanging underneath the deck, instead of the client having to pull out all the deck screws and flip the deck up to update it, we did a deck mount USB-C. So that kind of gives him the ability to update the charger. Once again, it's a new charger. We know updates are going to be coming soon. He'll be able to update both chargers. There's a USB on both sides, and that's going to give him the ability to do that without taking part of the case apart. So on the other side of the case, just above the switch, you can see an XT90. That is a mooch port, so you can plug an external item into the case to run off of the internal power supply. And as you can see, the internal power supply is putting out 26.5 volts. So any accessory or item that you want to plug into that XT90 that will accept 26.5 volts DC, that's how you get it. Let's go ahead and look at some of the things we did while we were building this. It was a very extensive build. Nothing in this bottom deck have we done before. So every item in this bottom deck, except for the fans, has been redesigned. So we sat for days with micrometers, miking stuff, We'd go out to the CNC, we'd run a little prototype, make sure that this worked. Now we did have the flip up screen that we use on our Pro cases, but integrating the smart charger screen into this housing, we had the Dremel where the ribbon comes through, so we had to move our file. We wanted to lay the buttons below the top of the deck. We did not want them protruding. 2 reasons. With 8 channels, somebody's going to have a battery laying on the deck charging. There's without a doubt, I already know it's going to happen. So you can't stop a charge by laying a battery on it. The other thing is, when you flip the storage door open, you're not going to be hitting the stop buttons and stopping a charge or changing a charge. So that was one of the things when we started doing the layout in the software, we realized that the storage door was going to lay on top of the buttons. And then we got to thinking, there's 8 channels in the bottom of this case, 4 over here, 4 over here. So one of the issues that we started thinking about is somebody's going to have batteries laying up here while they're charging. Now it might not be a short cord like that, but if you've got 8 batteries laying across here, somebody's going to be hitting buttons. So we flush mounted those to where they do not protrude above the deck. Really happy with the way it came out. You just got to remember to put the screens down before you shut the upper. So let's take a quick tour on how we designed this, how we put it together, the way everything mounts underneath. I'm not worried about anybody copying us because this was tough. And anybody that we've ever done a case for in the past that has given us the okay to do a video and social media with it, Alberto found out that we send 2 or 3 videos every day. So as we're doing stuff, we're taking videos that's inevitably going to end up in the end video on YouTube and social media. So he's already seen all these little snippets throughout the last month actually. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Definitely complicated, isn't it? We had a good time building this thing. I'm sure we're going to be doing more before it's over with. This is a very impressive case, and I want to thank Alberto for letting us build this. He's also coming in town, international customer. He's coming in town. He's going to pick it up personally, which is awesome always. I love putting a face with the voice and the emails and texts that we've been going back and forth with. Great client. Very happy and very proud that he chose us to build this for him. Thank you. Rotocraft RC, keeping you in charge.